Boy, if the music lasted any longer, you'd have still seen me dancing. Welcome to Kiwanis Connects. Well, the other people on video did see me dancing before the intro ended, and that's why they're shaking their heads. I'm Aaron Phillips. I'm anchoring things here in Las Vegas. Thank you for tuning into this week's edition of Kiwanis Connects. Of course, this show would not be possible if it wouldn't be for our great leader here in the Cal Neva District, Governor Val. Good morning, Governor. How are you this morning?
Aloha. I am doing awesome. I look out the window and I don't see snow this week.
That's a good thing.
There's a little bit of snow on the mountains, but I can't see the mountains directly out my window. So that makes me feel like I truly live in California.
There you go.
And that all is good with the world. So
right on. Joining us, though, in the third square here, like our little triangle, he's been a Kiwanian for life. I learned earlier. He started off in Builders Club in 1991. Mr. John Crawford joins us as he is the Cal Neva District Membership Chair for Team Smile. John, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Always happy to come in and talk about Kiwanis. So thanks for having me.
You bet. I want to remind our viewers, do not adjust your sets. John and I are not twins, so just make sure you realize that. Although we do go to the same barber. Thank you for watching. Of course, if you're watching us here on Facebook, thank you so much. Please feel free to share the feed with your friends on your wall. But you can also download the WWDBTV app to your Android phone, or if you have an iPhone, WWDBTV LV, and download that to your iPhone. If you miss anything about the show, you can go to WWDBTV.com on YouTube. You can watch it right here on Facebook. You can then also go to Roku for all of you Roku subscribers. Download the WWDBTV channel. Not only will you see Kiwanis Connects, but you'll see the plethora. See that? I worked on that one.
Nice.
Don't tell Chief about that one, John. Plethora of all the shows that are here at WWDBTV. And here's even a cooler thing. I think we finally have the phone lines working. John finally got the quarter slot to work. So if you have any questions, comments, or thoughts, please, please, please join the conversation. 702-992-3. What is it over there? It's in the 3207. Just kidding. 702-992-3207. It will appear on the screen for those watching. If you're on the app, however, 702-992-3207. Hurley hellos to Christina, to John, Diane, Anthony. Thank you all for jumping in the chat room early. We greatly appreciate it. All right, so as I always like to find out, Governor Val, since we last met a week ago, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I have to say that yesterday I had one of those Kiwanis moments that I just need to share with people. I was invited to the Eastern Illinois, Iowa district to talk about inviting more Kiwanians and diversity. And very few people invite me to talk about diversity because they know they can't shut me up. But we had one of those really amazing, meaningful conversations. And so, although I was in a number of different places last weekend and had some interactions, it was that moment when I realized that when we're talking about inviting people to Kiwanis, we're not talking about inviting them because of how they look. We're talking to them because we want more people who speak the same language we do, which is the language of love, service. And when you invite more people to do service and talk about service and don't focus in on all those other ugly things that happen in the world, wow. And one of those people that I learned some of that from is actually our guest today, John, because John really doesn't look at people for what they've done in the past, but he looks at them more for what they're going to do in the future and how they make him feel and other people feel. I think I got you, John.
I think that's accurate. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
She read it just like you wrote it, John. So, no, just kidding. And what I liked about this, though, Val, is when you and I were chatting about today's show, we're talking about spring cleaning. And when I put the promo up for today's show, hope always springs eternal, spring training in baseball, just philosophically or mentally always has that, all right, it's springtime, getting out of the doldrums of winter. What can we do? Spring garage, the house. And I love the connection between that and having John talk about the things that clubs can start doing to really begin doing spring cleaning, so to speak, of their clubs, to bring in fresh ideas, new things, and move around. I love that idea because like everybody, we just kind of get stuck in our same routine because you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, sometimes we don't realize it's broken until we sit down in
Exactly.
the chair and it goes out from under us. So I love it.
Exactly. And that was part of that whole spring cleaning and spring training concept. And so, John, this was your idea. So, what made you think of that? We should be doing that today.
Well, I mean, it's just like you said. It's springtime. It's a fresh start. The sun is going to come out. We're kind of through the rush of the holidays, and maybe there's a little lull going into January, but here we are with a new year, a new perspective, and I think traditionally spring cleaning is a time to kind of reflect and take a step back and see where we are as an organization, whether it's your club, whether it's your division. um, you know Take a step back and have a look from an outsider's perspective. What is it that we're doing well? What is it that we're not doing well? What is it that we can improve on? And so I think now is as good a time as any to really assess where we are, whether it's your club or your division or what have you. Take a look at the projects that you're having, take a look at the meetings that you're having, and ask yourself, is what we're doing right now working, or can we improve upon this in some way? And I tell
That's
people,
perfect
uh,
timing.
I'm sorry, I tell people that there is no such thing as a perfect Kiwanis club. You
Hmm.
show me a Kiwanis club with 200 members, and I'll ask you why not 201.
that's that because you know what? I guess if you're that kind of creates the ceiling of accomplishment if you're willing to just accept the 200 without breaking through the glass ceiling to go to that 201, right? I mean, we kind of get stuck in that pattern of acceptability because where we are is working, right?
Good enough is not good enough. That's we can always raise the bar. That's one of the great things about this organization. We can always push ourselves a little more to add that new member, to donate a little bit more to charity, to increase our service hours, to increase our connections within our community. So there is no upper limit to what we can do. And I think spring cleaning is a chance for us to really assess, how do we get there? How do we get to the next level?
I
And
love
we're halfway through our year, and so this is the time when we actually ask people, "What have you done so far that's really working well?" And are you on track for where you want to be for the upcoming quarter that's getting ready to happen in the year? And I know, Phil, I just stepped all over you, and so I'm going to give it back to you.
well, no. I was just saying wow because I love I think not I don't say generational gap, but I think as we get older, and I'm guilty of it at times, we just get used to the same routine, and it gets hard for us to break out of that shell. Do I don't know, change color of the hair? Not that I can do much with that, but it's just something to change things up a little bit, go a different way to work. Whatever it is, and we just get into this routine of doing the same thing every day, every hour, and we just get complacent. I think, unfortunately, that's just almost the nature of society and where we are today. I think because we're so busy that we kind of just get into that routine Sunday through Monday, Sunday through the following Saturday, and it's like wet, shampoo, rinse, repeat. Well, shampoo, you know what I'm saying? We just get into that same routine and we forget that there are other things we can do to change things up. And who knows, one slight change could change the direction of anything that you're working on.
Absolutely. One of the things that I was wondering about is, John, I know that you don't want to change everything all at one time, but if you were, to do an analysis of your club, what would be the first thing you'd ask them to look at, and how would you approach it with them? Because I think always that first step is a little difficult.
That's a very good question, and I was thinking about this. I am a big believer in surveys, and I was thinking about this yesterday. When we hear the word survey, you think of typically, nice long drawn out questionnaire. I don't really want to sit and answer, essay questions. I don't want to take the SATs over here.
Mhm.
But when we talk about member surveys, that could be as simple as one question. Why not print out a slip that says just one question? If you could change anything about your Kiwanis Club, what would that be? Now, everybody's going to say new members. Everybody's going to say younger members. But beyond that, I think that's where we can really tap into, where are some areas that we can address as a club. So, you know, as my own club personally, I think we could probably do a better job of marketing, getting the word out to bring in the entire community. We always mention that, our meetings are open to the public, but our meeting space is also a little bit tucked away where nobody can see us. So we want to, reach out to the community and really draw people in. So that's one area where I think we could improve.
I really think, John, you and I might be related because the word survey came out of your mouth as it was up here to ask about that. People sometimes are not always wanting to be forthright when it comes to certain surveys. They don't want to be the one to deliver the bad news. More people are willing to give their thoughts anonymously, which is why we have the phrase, keyboard warriors and stuff. I remember back in one of the early, our phone is ringing. We might actually have a caller who's going to join us here in a second. But I remember back in the day, one of the trainings in sales that I went through, the definition of sales is the transfer of emotion when you're talking about a problem, whether people know it exists or not. But we have to provide a solution. It's great somebody says we need new members, young members, but what's the solution? Hang on, I think we have a caller calling in here. John, who do we have here? All right, we're going to give it a shot. This is our Virgin Maiden caller here. So let me know when we're ready to go.
Go ahead.
All right, caller, thank you for calling Kiwanis Connects. Who's this, please? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lockport, California, which is outside of Lodi.
Right on. And your first name?
My name's John.
John, thank you for calling in, sir. You have a question or comment you'd like to throw at us?
Yeah, I do have a comment. I enjoy your show. It's a great show. I listen every week. But my comment, to learn how to get a better club, you need the inner club. Inner club is important because you can see how others do it and maybe copy it.
What a great idea. And it's also, it's getting out. It's kind of like a bear coming out of hibernation. If you stay within your club for months and months and months, and then you go do an inner club, visiting another local club and seeing how they do stuff, there are a couple things that come to mind. One, you learn, wow, we're not as bad as we thought. We do some things pretty awesome, and they learn something from us. Two, wow, that club is really cool. And three, there might be a different way to do what we do. And so, John, thank you for the call.
Absolutely.
Yay, maiden voyage.
John.
Another idea, at the end of the year, there's some inner clubs awards clubs can win if they do enough inner clubs.
Correct. Thank you, John. Excellent point. Excellent point. I remember when I was a Kiwanian in Homedale, New Jersey, my dear friend from Penn State, who is my advisor for Circle K, he came out to visit us, and we planted him with our banner, and doggone it, we had to fly to State College, Pennsylvania from Homedale, New Jersey, my alma mater. Such a twisted arm. Thank goodness we had a private pilot in the club, and he had a plane, and we got that inner club to go. And I think he's right on. I think the power of the inner club, and not just within Kiwanis. Go to Circle K. Go to a key club meeting, because doggone it, they got the energy that we all wish we all had, right? So
my wife and I were talking last night. Inner clubs with our SLP clubs, they count. Go visit your key club. Go visit your Circle K. I've been a Builders Club advisor since 2006, and those kids keep me going. They really love serving the community. They have really taken to service like a duck takes to water, and it keeps things fresh from a Kiwanis perspective, because they're always coming up with new ideas. They're always coming up with something that you haven't seen before. If you want to stay young, get your students involved, and they'll keep you up on all the latest trends.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everybody, if you're watching or listening, our phone number to call in, now that we know that it actually worked, there's another call. Look at this. I feel like I'm on a telethon. Next caller, $10 bid. Watch the tote board. I have a feeling I know who it is if you're monitoring the chat room, but that's okay. So John is chastising our caller. Now, wait a minute here. John, we want people to keep calling, John. 702-992-3207. I think we have a call. Is that Leanne, perhaps?
Leanne.
That is Leanne Westfall joins us on the line. Miss Leanne, thank you so very much for calling. How are you? I need you to turn down the volume on whatever device you're listening to.
I need you to turn down the volume on whatever device you're listening
She just got the message.
Gotcha.
Hi,
Gotcha.
hi, Leanne. You're on the air.
Hi.
Good morning.
What? Good morning. Hey, what I wanted to mention when you said survey, John, popped in my head. This summer during the summer summits, one of the activities was to go around a room and write things down. And when we got done, there were 7 from the club there. We all wrote the same thing on what we didn't like in our club. And it's just like you said, people were afraid to say it out loud. But when we all wrote the same thing on the piece of paper, it was pretty eye-opening. And since half the people were either officers or on the board, they came back to the next board meeting and they said, our club doesn't like this. Can we change it? And it took a few months to get everybody to understand, but it was a really, I felt, powerful moment for our club because we cleaned house. We got rid of an activity that a lot of us were feeling very burdened by, and we're all excited to do the activity this year in a new way. So I do think that one question can sometimes really make a difference in the club. So it is a good spring. We kind of did it as a summer cleaning, but we still got it done, and I think it's a good change for our club. So that was a great suggestion.
Thank you, Leanne, for calling. And she makes a great point there. Before we go to break, I want to emphasize just this one thought of what she said there. She did it during the summer. Now, the technical thing is spring cleaning, but folks, Kiwanis clubs, you can spring clean anytime, daily clean, whatever you got to do. You don't have to wait for spring or summer, right? Governor Val, we have 12 months in our organizational year. You know, we don't have to wait to a specific time of the year to actually do these kind of things moving forward, right?
Absolutely not. And every month that you delay is adding 2 or 3 months before action actually happens. And so at this point in our game and what we're doing, every time you have something, do it in real time, because that's what energizes people and gets them more excited and motivated. And if they have to wait and you say, we're going to do it in the new year, those members may not be a member of your organization by the new year.
Exactly. You know, that people can give their opinion, but not be there for the result or participate in helping the result. It's a great point. All right. Mm-hmm. Listen, we've had a successful first segment. We have had 2 callers call in to test the phone lines. Woohoo! Great conversation. So we're going to step aside for our first break, and when we come back, we're going to get more detailed about some of the ideas that John has with his committee, with Governor Val, and we want you to keep calling with your thoughts. You can put it in the chat room, whatever works. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. Please don't go anywhere.
International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
All right, we are back. Governor Val, you know, you sent me a message here, and I kind of like it better: poll versus survey. Mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty cool shift in the mind, where I think a poll is less intimidating than a survey. Yeah,
absolutely. And people are used to taking polls. You can actually do it on your phone. There's a free poll. It's like pollsurvey.com. And you can do a free survey with everybody in the room where they all put their messages in, and you can pop it up, and no one knows who else responded, but it's instantaneous. And it's a pretty cool tool. I use those with the lieutenant governor meetings, and it's pretty interesting, some of the information that comes back to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So 702-992-3207 is our phone line. Call in, but Val, I'm going to throw it back to you and John let's start talking about some of the ideas and suggestions for spring cleaning or anytime cleaning.
Well, you know, the very first one is, when I look in my Kiwanis closet, I have a whole bunch of papers all over the place. And I haven't seen one treasury report in three months. And so,
Uh-oh.
is that the kind of spring cleaning that we might want to approach? Or I'm in
Well,
trouble.
I mean, certainly it doesn't help or it doesn't hurt to clean up the files. I know I've still got secretary materials in my office, and I haven't been club secretary in probably 6 or 8 years. So I'm a bit of a pack rat. But anyways, but yeah, definitely if you can help not just clean out the records, but also make sure that you're installing and electing fresh officers too. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't help the club to have the same secretary every year, the same treasurer every year. That actually can be more hurtful than helpful, even though that one person may know how to do the job. What happens if that person goes away? Um, so yeah, keep the files fresh and keep new blood coming in at all times. To me, I think in order to keep a club healthy and active, it has to be it has to be fun first
Mm-hmm.
and foremost. It has to be fresh, so you have to expect the unexpected, always keep something new coming down the pipes, and it has to be relevant or responsive to the community. We've got in my club, Grantville Allied Gardens Division 21. We are fortunate to have a guy by the name of Gary Bloom, and Gary is that guy who helps keeps our meetings fresh. He is our house committee chair. He puts all of our meals together in the morning. He does all of our holiday decorations. So if it's Christmas or Halloween or Valentine's Day, you can bet that when we get into that room, it's going to be decorated top to bottom with whatever holiday it is. As a matter of fact, I have an app on my phone called Check-A-Day. We all know about the mainstream holidays, Christmas and Halloween and Easter and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many oddball holidays out there. For example, today is Dress in Blue Day. It is Canadian Bacon Day. It is National Anthem Day. It is National Speech and Debate Education Day. So it's Talking Third Person Day. So John Crawford says you should celebrate Talking Third Person Day. But just these goofy things. I mean,
Proves.
yes, every day is some sort of weird oddball holiday, and my Builders Club kids love that. We celebrate those weird little holidays, and whether it's National Chocolate Day, National Popcorn Day, what have you, every meeting is an opportunity to celebrate. So just those fun little things that you can inject into your club meetings will keep people expecting the unexpected and coming back for more.
That app that you just shared with the oddball calendars, is that National Day Calendar or whatever?
It is called Check-A-Day, and it's spelled Checkiday. Check-A-Day.
There is a National Day Calendar is another site that has all the oddball activities. I know the owner of that website, and it's got everything like you just talked about that you look at and you go, I didn't know that it was, pizza day or, love thy aunt on the ground. I mean, that is fun stuff. I like jokes, actually. I think a president should end, or whoever the leader is, just end with a stupid joke just to make people laugh on the way out. Because the conversation generally through a meeting is somewhat serious in a way when you're talking about events and putting stuff together. I always say send people out with a smile in the meeting and with a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Or have different members do that. Just something like you said to shake it up. I'm sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now. Back to Val.
Oh no, Governor Val loves to eat chocolate while dressed in blue and listening to both of you. So, and I did my Dr. Seuss rhyme since it's Dr. Seuss week. So there we go.
That's
But
it.
I think that the ideas of looking at your meetings, if you're a club president, and how you do it, and kind of dusting it off and looking at how to make your meetings more fun is one of those spring cleaning things that can be done today. So if you have a meeting tomorrow on Saturday morning, it's like adding something that's really wacky and fun. Maybe that's dressing up. In a hamburger outfit. It's tomorrow National Hamburger Eating Day. It's like just look at the calendar a couple days in ahead and show up that way. People are going to talk about you, and that's what you want them to do. You want them to remember that this was fun, that this was something really, really special. And by just looking at your agenda and going, if that's something that could be on an email, and so that we can have more interaction at our meeting, then maybe it's making that one small change that it changes the experience for everybody who shows up.
Valerie, I'm sure you can relate. I can't tell you how many times I've been to a Kiwanis meeting, an interclub with another club out there, and I come away thinking that was not a fun meeting. That was not a good time. And we have to remember as leaders, if you're in charge of a meeting, you are on stage. You have to keep your audience entertained, keep them coming back for more. If you're not having any fun at your meetings, you're not doing it right. You've got to inject some humor, some fun into every meeting. It's right there in the name of Kiwanis. The name Kiwanis comes from an Achapu tribal word meaning we trade, we make noise, and we have a good time. It's right there in the name. So we're always trying to make a good first impression. Anybody out there in that audience, if you're hosting a meeting, if you've got a first-time visitor, that first-time visitor is going to decide in the first 5 minutes whether or not they're ever going to come back again. And if that first-time visitor is not entertained, not having fun, if you're just having a committee discussion, talking about club finances, that's not entertaining for the audience. They're not going to come back. You're never going to see them again. And that's a missed opportunity for a new member.
And that's always what I think about when we have guests. We are always inviting guests to our meetings. And for us in the meeting, we're, projects as usual, and not realizing that we were on stage for those new guests. Because if we don't connect them that first time, they're not coming back. So it's always, I think, important to have something on your agenda that's welcoming and lets them know that they're part of the family when you're sitting there. And I think that makes a huge difference. So.
You guys mentioned Dr. Seuss, and I couldn't help but do this. I literally just penned, I don't know how well you can see, if you can see this paper with just writing on it. It's like got scribble. I was Dr. Seuss inspired. So please bear with me. It literally just got written down as a thought was here. So please, if you will, okay? If you like it, I just want to hear the snaps, all right? Governor Val is here, but do not fear. All Val wants to do is lead us to cheer. Keep others in mind because we should always be kind. Although we are not an airline, we do deliver. Whatever Governor Val asks to be done, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, you'll have to eat liver. Okay?
All right now. And as our key clubbers would say, 5555555, which is clapping.
I'm being thrown out of my own studio after that. But anyway, I got inspired there. By the way, if anybody wants this, I'll sign it. For how much money does Circle K needs for their
$25,000.
All right, I'll take $25. It's a start at least. Anyway.
Absolutely.
I just, you mentioned Seuss, and I'm like, all right, something's starting to flow here, and I had to write it down. So I apologize. But I was listening to everything you were talking about. Always leave them wanting more. Keep people happy. It's like, it is. John, I think you said it best. When I was Lieutenant Governor, thank you, Leanne. Very Dr. Seuss. When I was Lieutenant Governor, and I was speaking to our clubs like we all have, that was my pulpit. The Kiwanians was my congregation. That stage was my altar. And when we enter that stage, whether it's in a club meeting, one-on-one, or doing what we do here, we have to want people wanting more. That's the old entertainment philosophy. You don't always give everything. You want to give them a reason to come back, and I totally agree with that philosophy. It has to be fun. People come to meetings, especially in the evening after work, where they've dealt with their entire day of work and kids and school and soccer. They want to come. Yeah, the conversation is serious, but still, they want to come. They want to have fellowship. They want to enjoy their time. And I think that's probably the best reason not the best reason, but one of the best things we can do to make sure our meetings are contagious for people to want to keep coming. So
those of us who work for a living and have to go to meetings 5 days a week for other things that are not fun, like Kiwanis, to be honest with you, when at the end of the day, when I clock out, sometimes the last thing I want to do is go to another meeting, unless it's fun.
Yeah.
If it's fun, if it's something I can look forward to, then yes, go ahead and bring it on. Keeping keeping people interested, keeping your audience coming back for more, keeping them guessing. It's what's going to bring people back in the door, bring them back again and again and again. I remember one time at a club meeting, we had our club president that year dressed from head to toe as a ninja, and he led the whole meeting that way, start to finish. And I mean, this was over 20 years ago. I still remember that meeting because it was that memorable. We've had meetings where we turn the whole room around, where instead of the head table on this side of the room, all of a sudden it's over on this side of the room, just to shake things up.
I love that idea, because many times I know we've all experienced this. You go to a meeting, go wherever, and it's the same people in the same seats talking to the same people every meeting. And when you're a new member coming in, that can be very intimidating when you see that click there, and it's very hard to get integrated. And that's possibly one of the reasons why people don't come back, because they're not made to feel welcome when they see that everybody's talking here. You're like that wallflower at the dance at the prom. You're over on the wall waiting to be invited to dance. And obviously people get turned off by that. So I love the idea of switching the meeting room around, switching seats, and doing all of that to shake it up for sure. That's the ultimate cleaning of a weekly routine right there, just because it is. So I love that idea.
And, I've seen two ways that it's happened, where you just simply, when people come into the room, you hand them a card from a deck of cards. And you ask them to sit by other people that, if you have a queen of hearts, you have to sit by other people that have a queen. And that you got to find them and before the meeting gets started. And the other one was that I saw someone do that I thought was fantastic. They went in a little bit early and they put numbers in front of every chair. And when people came in, they drew from a hat and they picked out a number. So it was a matching number to the seat that they needed to go sit by. And if they brought a guest with them, then they could move a seat over, but they couldn't make a difference in who was going to sit by them.
I like that.
So just two simple ways to shake up and clean out some of the cobwebs of how people meet and sit. It is, I think, huge. Absolutely huge.
I think it's getting people out of their comfort zone. I mean, it's so easy to fall into a rut, to get into a lull, to get the same meeting over and over and over again. And I mean, I'm a traditionalist. My club still sings at every meeting. There's, sometimes the old ways are best. Sometimes, we're a club that's built on tradition. But you have to, at the same time, be open to new things and freshen things up every now and then. That's what spring cleaning is all about, trying something different, trying something new.
And I want to throw this thought in there about routine, being shut down for 15, 16 months and people just kind of had that protective unit. I'm going to sit next to people I know because I know where they come from. I know they're healthy. I know blah, 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 blah. And then you have somebody new that's coming in. They don't know them and they're being careful, 6 feet distance. We have to start getting back to normal, whatever normal is for people to some degree, because we have to make others feel welcome in any situation, but certainly in the Kiwanis meeting environment. Before I move on, I just want to do a little quick reset. I want to thank everybody who's just joining us right now for the Kiwanis Connects show. I'm Aaron Phillips, hosting with Governor Val out in Cali. Our guest today is Mr. John Crawford. He is part of the spring cleaning project of Team Smile. I'm just going to paraphrase it that way. He's down in San Diego. We're talking today about things you can do to really freshen up your club, whether it's activities, people, or whatever, sharing ideas. And our phone number, 702-992-3207, is now open. If you have a thought, a question for any one of us here on the panel, we'd love to hear from you. Also, you noticed, I want to thank John's Home Club and Steve, is it Dwyer or Dyer? Steve Dyer. Dryer, thank you.
Like a washer and a dryer.
There you go. I just feel bad. I don't remember what I had for breakfast an hour ago. But I want to thank you, gentlemen, because your clubs, your home club, John and Steve's, one of his clubs, have taken up the opportunity to have that Kiwanis commercial that we run here customized. And so we want to thank you for that. And I want to remind everybody that commercial is part fundraising for Governor Val in order to keep this show on the air and going strong as it has been. So please, if you don't know what the commercial is, you can watch it at the beginning of this show. But better yet, it is pinned, I believe, to the top of the Kiwanis Connects page. For more information, please feel free to email me, KiwanisConnectsInfo at gmail.com. Kiwanis Connects info at gmail.com. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. And with that, let's continue the discussion with some great ideas, Governor Val and John.
Well, I think that really eases into our image and being able to spruce up our image in our communities. Most people don't realize how much Kiwanis Club does in their area. And so there are different ways to be able to market as part of the spring cleaning image and also announce awards and those kind of things. And I know, John, you guys are really good at that, in being able to have people know that you're out there. I think when I was down there, didn't I see you guys in the paper?
Yeah, we've got a local community newspaper that is pretty good about covering us. We do a pretty good job about covering ourselves too. Between our monthly newsletter, we've got a team of 3 people that work on our website, keeping it up to date each week. We have Facebook, we have Instagram. So I think from an electronic standpoint and from a print media standpoint, we do a pretty good job of promoting ourselves, and that's important. I think, again, part of spring cleaning, if your club is not active on social media, if social media is this big scary thing, take a step back and say, wait a minute, we can do this after all. Sort of refresh your attitude, refresh your thoughts, your thought process, and see what you can do. You know, if you need to call for help, call for help. But spring cleaning is about taking a new mindset, a new mentality, and trying something different.
Sorry, John, I want to remind you as you're talking about sharing news within social media and newsprint, please, folks, use the Kiwanis Connects Facebook page. Post your events, post your happenings, post what you have going on, because again, we're talking about sharing ideas, interclubs and stuff, but really that Facebook page is almost an interclub all into itself, where everybody should be sharing information, what they're doing, great tips, great ideas to freshen things up. And you know what, Governor Val, if we get some goodies there, I'm going to share them on the show every week. Well, maybe we'll highlight some of the announcements that we get posted on there so that clubs will hear themselves announced on the show. But again, share some ideas and input. Use the Kiwanis Connects Facebook page. It's there for you, not only just to host the show, but everybody, let's use that as well.
I think that's absolutely perfect. That's exactly why we started using all the pictures, and I've asked all of our clubs to send in pictures of events and things that they're doing that are exciting, so that we can mix up the images. This is all about our whole district and highlighting where we are and what we're doing, because, you know, when I go into a town and I see that gigantic K, it makes me so excited, and I get so giddy proud. And then I start looking around to see, okay, what are they doing? Where are their parks? And so we're gonna pump you up. We want you to be showing off what you're doing. And I know that, you know, at Grenfell Alley Gardens is one of those, their gyms. They even have a little Kiwanis Park thingy, and I call it a thingy because it's smaller than any park I've ever seen in many ways, but it has a gigantic clock. And John, you had shared a little bit of the story, but it was just like, this is cool.
That is our triangle. We call it the triangle, and what it is, it's basically the main intersection in our neighborhood, at the corner of Waring Road and Zion Avenue in San Diego. The triangle basically it started with a flagpole for the bicentennial 1976. Our Kiwanis Club thought we need a community flagpole, and so they put up a flagpole in 1976. And then the next thing you know, okay, well, now we need a clock for the community. And so we did this big fundraiser where people could purchase an engraved bricks, and you could have a brick made for a loved one. We're still doing that. We still have bricks available as a fundraiser. So, and now if you cross the street from from one side of Zion to the other, and you go across the triangle, you can't help but notice Kiwanis is in this community. It's everywhere. You can see it. We've got names of our past members. We've got our Key Club represented, Circle K Builders Club K Kids represented. So it's quite a spectacle. If you're in town in San Diego, drop by the corner of Waring and Zion. You can see this is a project that's been almost 50 years in the making, but it's something that we're all very proud of.
And, you know, it bleeds into, for a number of our clubs, they have those special places, or they have a sign on the freeway that says this part of the freeway is cleaned by Kiwanis. And so this is a perfect time to go make sure that it looks good and that it's something that people want to equate with Kiwanis.
You could do literal spring cleaning. I mean, go out and do a litter cleanup project. Go out and clean off the side of the freeway. Make it a service project. Literally spring cleaning.
Literally.
Absolutely. You know, one of the places I love to vacation every year is Lake Havasu down in Arizona. And for those who don't know, part of their beaches down there is sponsored by another service organization called Rotary. And I want you to know, I don't go swim there. As a Kiwanian, I go to the Rotary Park because I'm a Kiwanian through and through. How about them apples?
Oh, but we need to partner with Rotary because they have a lot of money and they can help us.
Well, that's true.
That's my wine for the morning.
Well, I just listen. You know, I bleed blue and gold, but it's the Kiwanis blue and gold. That's why I'm supporting. But no, I'm being silly. But they do have a park down there, which again is a suggestion of how they're getting their name out there. And they do have a Kiwanis Club down there. They do have the sign, Lake Havasu Kiwanis Club. Unfortunately, their meeting times, I think they don't meet every week. They're like every other, and they don't meet when I'm already down there. Otherwise, I'd love to go pay a visit. But anything you can do, there's no such thing as bad press per se, but anything that can be done, especially when it's good stuff. I mean, if folks don't realize this, you know, when you watch the news, saving the cat out of the tree is always the last 30-second news piece that a news station puts out there. They always put all the other stuff out there first, but yet we need more good stuff to make us realize that all that other bad stuff is maybe in some cases somewhat isolated in things that we don't have control over. But we have control of supporting each other in our community and doing things that make us feel better as a person. And that's the thing I think we miss a lot of in our day today. But
I agree with you. And so, you know, if you're having a hard time figuring out how to start an article that goes out, it's starting with the global. You know, Kiwanis has helped donate over $2 million to help the effort in Ukraine. Kiwanians have actually been involved in over 1.7 million hours of community service throughout the world. And, you know, here in our community, we've done X. And that's a great way to funnel it in from this big thing down to this is what we're doing for you and with you. And we need your help. And then you tell them how you need your help. And
speaking of needing help, I don't mean to segue to this before we go to our final break and get ready for Val on the road, but you were mentioning something, speaking of fellowship and Key Club and Circle K. John, if it's okay, I'd like Val to take a couple of minutes. I know you're obviously interested in this. Circle K needs our help. So guys, why don't you talk about that?
Well, absolutely. And you know, and John's a past governor. And so he knows all this intimately. He's intimately involved with Circle K. But for those of you who don't sponsor a SLP at the college level, please listen up. There's an opportunity for you to start a Circle K in your area. That's what the Kicks logo is. I'm going to figure out where to point on Aaron's logo. But Kicks is Kiwanians investing in Circle K. Our Circle K was hit the hardest due to COVID, and that's because universities didn't come back full force in the first year and a half after the pandemic. And students are now just beginning to start to be on campus. And so what that means is that they're at less than half force in who's paying for dues. And the long-term impact of this is that they don't have the finances to do things that most college students who are in Circle K would be able to do. They're going to probably be almost $25,000 short for decon. And that's because their schools are not releasing them to attend. So attendance is really, really low. And their due structure has changed. And so many students don't know how to get the money to where they need to be. And so I know if you were up for sponsoring a banner patch, which is $150, or buying a challenge coin, or buying a pen that's $5, those kind of things will help defray the cost and also add to their scholarship fund. And John, how else can we help? Because, you know, it's just like, I wasn't a Circle K-er, but I was a college student that had 3 jobs. You know, my first job going to school, second job having a job to pay for school, and the third job making sure that I was still doing service. So what can we do?
Well, Circle K, of course, is very near and dear to my heart. I spent 5 years in the San Diego State Circle K Club, which is the oldest Circle K club in the district, fourth oldest Circle K club in the world, and we very nearly lost them this year because of COVID. I mean, we're hopefully through the pandemic. I mean, things are getting back to normal, but the effects of the pandemic are still being felt. San Diego State University didn't have any Circle K club meetings on campus for 2 years. They weren't able to recruit on campus for 2 years. And so those officers that we had were able to get us through the pandemic. But those members, those new people that would have come in during that era, those are the people that would have been taking the leadership roles today. Those are the people who are not there currently. So we are not only missing out on funding, we're missing out on that experience. The freshmen and sophomores who are now becoming juniors and seniors who would be taking the roles of governor, lieutenant governor, club presidents, those people just aren't there right now. And so from a Kiwanis standpoint, we want to connect with the students that we do have, let them know that we are here for them, we are supportive, give them that officer training that they need so that they feel like, okay, I can do this after all. I do have the experience and the know-how to lead this club to where it can be. We're doing officer training in a week and a half for our incoming Circle K president and any officers that we can dig up. But they've only got 5 members on their roster right now. All 5 of them are going to be club officers. There's nowhere to go but up. But it's gonna take some work, and it's gonna take a team effort.
Absolutely. And I'm going to do a shout out to, if you're a Circle K alumnus and you're not a part of a Kiwanis club, but you're in an area that they have a Circle K, would you please just consider coming back and being a part of the Kiwanis family so that you can be an advisor to Circle K. You don't need to do all the other things that are happening in the club. That biggest gift that you could give is your past experience and your wisdom about how they can succeed. If you would just do that, I would stand up and applaud and put out plaques. We just need adults that we needed when we were students. So that's
I think that's a great message. Whatever we can do to support them. I too, Circle K alumni at Penn State during my 2 years at main campus, so I get it. I got Key Club, Circle K, and Kiwanis in my blood, and without the SLP programs, Lord only knows where Kiwanis will be in 5 years from now, to say the least. All right, with that, we're going to step aside for our final official commercial break of today's show, Kiwanis Connects. We thank everybody for watching. You're not going to want to go anywhere because we have a new segment introduction for Val on the Road and more to talk about with John. And hopefully you, if you want to call in, share your thoughts on comments on anything that we've been talking about today. Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back.
This is the story of one man's incredible journey from 350 to 200-pound weight loss and his mission to help and inspire others. Aaron Phillips. People are praising Aaron's new book with 5-star reviews. Aaron's various humorous and wildly entertaining stories portray his rise as a sports announcer, his encounters with exotic and irregular entertainers on the Las Vegas Strip through his long-running Vegas Unwrapped radio show, and his contagious and positive style of pursuing success. Call now or visit our website or Amazon now to get your copy of Let My Voice Speak to You, stories from a Hall of Fame radio personality. Order now.
I'm Matt.
I'm Chief.
And I'm Aaron, and together we are
Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Join us every Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific Time.
Right here on WWDBTV Network and all the shows that are available for you to watch. And why is that?
Because the Chief says so.
All right, some people are graded by the friends they keep, so don't hold that promo against me, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. Don't Count Anywhere Saturdays. That's tomorrow from 9 to 11. Of course, Aaron's Hour at noontime from 12 to 1. A lot of great guests. Just simply check out the Facebook pages, and you'll see what we have coming up. All right. We got a lot of stuff. Who is that just popped in there that said great show there, Mr. Producer? I missed it before you took it off. So I love giving shout out. No, that wasn't me. Oh, Alan Young. Thank you, Alan. Great show. Thank you very much. Now, listen, if I were to post my own thing, it would say great hosts, great guests, and have it like forever. Okay. Before we get back to John with some more ideas and stuff, it is one of our favorite times of the show. We know Governor Val's a friend of AAA, and we know how much Andy really loves to take her around the district. So with that, we have a new introduction all set up on behalf and for Governor Val, courtesy of John, our producer. So here we go with the start of Val on the Road. All right, Val, follow that up.
That's fabulous. Oh my goodness. And I actually look like that most of the time when I go on my governor visits. So that's fabulous. And the sound. I have to tell you that March is probably one of the busiest months on the governor calendar. And I am so excited because in an hour from this show, I'm actually hopping on the road and I'm actually going to be the driver so that I can kind of talk to Andy and he can actually look out the window because we're headed to Petaluma. And we're going to be doing a very fun governor's visit there. There is a service project from 9 to 11. And so there'll either be an outdoor service project and an indoor service project, or depending on the weather, we'll be working on stuffing eggs for the community Easter egg hunt, for a better word. And so I was trying to think of the right words because you still have me laughing. And
it's amazing what a car horn can do to people, isn't it?
I know. And then next week we are headed to Turlock for a little bit. Mr. Andy is taking on a contract, so he's going to make sure that Val can afford to keep her car on the road over the next couple of months. And so we'll be meeting.
It's not
a contract hit, but being able to work with food insecurities in Turlock and in Stockton. And so we're very excited about that. And then I'll be heading down to Coachella Valley because Greater Coachella Valley is opening a Kiwanis Club on Wednesday. And so I'm looking forward to being there. And also I'll be doing my governor calls on Wednesday from the Greater Coachella Valley area, which makes me excited. And I'm trying to figure out if I can actually make it back up to Gridley, which is in the Yuba City area, because Gridley is opening a Kiwanis Club on Thursday evening. And they're being sponsored by the Yuba City Supper Club. They think they've got it all wrapped, but I'm going to try, I don't think Aisha is on here. So I'm hoping I might be able to surprise them, which is going to be a lot of mileage on the car. But, when we bring Kiwanis to new communities, wow. There's, they need all the love and support. And they need to know that they're really important to our Kiwanis world. There hasn't been a club in Gridley in over 20 years, and it's one of those places that has been growing. And that's one of the positive things about the pandemic, that people realized that they can move out of Sacramento and into the Gridley and Sutter and Placer Lake areas and have the quality of life that they've been really looking forward to. And then I will be in Bakersfield, broadcasting from Bakersfield next Friday. And that's because we've got a multiple visit in Bakersfield. So every weekend, I'm somewhere fun. And if you want to tune in, hopefully my technology will be as good as yours. But next Friday, one of our guests I'm really looking forward to sharing with you is the director of the San Luis Obispo County UCP. So right now it's called the United Cerebral Palsy Coalition, and they partner usually with our action clubs and are the co-sponsors of our action clubs. But I learned this past week when I was in San Luis Obispo that, oh my goodness, the amazing programs that are done and the resources that are available span the gamut from people who are stroke victims to veterans with PTSD to adults with disabilities. They do it all, and they have a lot of resources. They're looking for volunteers and service opportunities. So we're going to talk a lot more about how to spring clean in that area and find new partners that you can partner with. So that's how I segued my on the road back to the topic.
There you go. No detours on that road.
No
Uh,
detours.
Now, one thing you have not mentioned is that 2 weeks from today, people should be arriving for something, I don't know, called Midwinter South or something. There's something going on in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, we're going to be in Burbank, the Los Angeles Airport Marriott in Burbank, and we have a fantastic lineup of programs. John's going to be one of our presenters, and John is so dynamic. So you want to be a part of that. We also have something called the Genius Bars, and the Genius Bars is it's what it sounds like. It's experts in different areas where instead of sitting through 45 minutes of a program to just ask one question, you have that expert all to yourself, and it's going to be like a little wizard pathway because we have our theme is Dare to Dream, which is a spin off of Wizard of Oz. So you'll follow the purple brick road to meet the wizards. And at each wizard bar, you might have a question for a treasurer or a secretary, or you might want to have questions about fundraising and sales tax and all of those different things, service projects, fundraising. We have different wizards all throughout the day that can help you answer your question so that you feel like I used my time really well while I'm here. And then I've got a highlight. We just confirmed she's staying in the same hotel with us. Please don't ask me what her room number is, but past Olympian and gold medal winner Jackie Joyner Kersey is our keynote speaker, and she's got her plane tickets. And because I always worry about those little red flag things, but she's got her plane tickets. She's so excited to be with us, and so she's going to be debuting her first book, and it's a children's book. But she's also going to talk to us about how to dare to dream and how to empower people to dream and achieve their dreams. And so you've got an opportunity to come to Burbank. You want to come to that interclub luncheon. You want to be able to spend time with all the fellowship. And please bring a couple extra dollars. Bring your Venmo because we're in the middle of a Cup of Love season. And a cup of love is instead of buying a cup of coffee that day or buying a carafe of coffee, that you would donate that to our children's fund so that we can move forward with grants for next year's projects. And so for $4.50, you're helping 2 kids with a grant from Kiwanis International. And if you buy a carafe at $18.50, you are helping 8 kids. It's pretty amazing math. So if you were to skip that 1 cup of coffee and donate it,
Make a
it would
difference.
be a lot of love.
I have 2 additional notes regarding Midwinter, and March 17th, the Friday, really kicks off. Kiwanis Connects, my Genius Bar, will be on the ship Miracle, part of the Carnival Cruise Line, as I will be away on spring break. That is what we have here in Las Vegas that week. So I'll call you, don't call me. My Genius Bar will literally be at a bar, and I don't think you want me on the show. But I do have the glass half empty part for me is Jackie Joyner Kersey is scheduled to be Val's guest here on Kiwanis Connects that Friday. I am sad that I will be missing it, but I've been assured that I will receive a autographed copy as a consolation prize of her book. But that's okay. Maybe in the future we'll have her back, or I've got all my other shows with Val's help. Maybe we can get her to come on another show. So listen, great weekend. I will be out of town celebrating my 34th wedding anniversary. My wife and I finally figured it was time to go on a cruise since my in-laws didn't want us to go on a cruise. So instead we went to St. Lucia on our honeymoon. That wasn't bad instead. So mother-in-law said, "You're not taking my daughter on a cruise ship with Goofy and Mickey for your honeymoon." And I said, "Well, obviously you don't know me well enough that I'm goofy enough, and she's going to have it for the rest of her life." But anyway, I digress quickly. All right, the meter is running out. John, I want to give you an opportunity. Give us one great idea for spring cleaning that we haven't talked about that clubs can do for clubs, members, whatever. Give us a great idea in addition.
Well, I'm going to say I think the big one is our SLP takeovers. We're having our Key Club come in and take over our meeting for us later this month during spring break. And then in May, we're having our Builders Club come in and run the meeting for us. So our president's going to get a couple of weeks off where he can be just a member. I'm sure he doesn't mind at all. I want to remind people that, Valerie gave us this great acronym, SMILE, and the I stands for innovation, the L stands for leadership, and to me, those two go hand in hand. You cannot have real leadership without innovation. Now is the time to try something new. Now is the time to, freshen up, inject some fun, something different into your club meetings. It's okay to have board meetings. It's not okay to have board meetings. BORED, that's not going to work. So that's, we got to keep things fresh, got to keep things active, got to keep things fun, and keep that audience coming back for more.
Right on. Well said. All right, Governor Val, your thoughts as we say goodbye.
I just want to say to everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. And make sure that as part of your spring cleaning, you're dusting off those thank you notes and getting them out there and letting people know that how much you appreciate them. Just picking one person in your community and saying, thank you for partnering with Kiwanis over the past few months, years, decades has made all the difference that we need. And that's one of those spring cleaning things you can do today as soon as you click off from our show. So mahalo.
Right on. All right. Well said, everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, regardless of what platform you are watching us on. Please continue to do so and share our pages with others around. You don't have to be a Kiwanian to share our page, because who knows, a show like this may make somebody who's not a Kiwanian, they may want to join Kiwanis because of this show. There you go. Spring cleaning through the show. We love it. All right. With that, want to remind everybody, please be kind to each other. Why? Hey, we're all we have. We got to deal with it. Let's accept it. Thank you for watching Kiwanis Connects. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.